Hello everyone. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification. So I am back with part 2. This is the last part of the young lady telling her story. Like I said in part 1, this is a prime example why you can't help everybody and everybody just don't want to be helped. But at the end of the day, this young lady did do a great thing about trying to help this man, even though he didn't want to be helped. And I know God will bless her with more. But let's get into it. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and watch the rest of the video. And let me know in the comment section on what you all think about this situation.
What happened to Unc part 7? So I peeped a lot and I'm just like, okay. So we ended up going downstairs, headed to the grocery store. Keep in mind, he's still on the phone with his parole officer trying to coordinate when they can meet up and do whatever they got to do because that's his business. So as I'm downstairs, one of the hotel staff stops me. Hey, Sanai, can I speak to you for a second? And I'm like, damn, what she got to speak to me for? I'm getting scared because I don't like that tone. So Alonzo's on the side on the phone with his parole officer taking care of his stuff. And then me and the lady go to the side and she said, hey, I just wanted you to know that I've been gone for a few days, but my coworkers brought it to my attention that he's been bringing somebody to his room and you should probably check in on that. And I'm like, really? Like, dang, I never heard of any of that, of course. So I'm like, well, can you describe the person? Like, can you give me more information on it? Oh, I wasn't here, so I really can't. So she goes and grabs her coworker. The coworker comes. She said, yeah, he's been bringing somebody pretty much every day for about a month. And I'm like, well, can you describe the person, what they look like? And she's like, I'm not good with none of that. I really can't. She's telling me stuff, but not really telling me stuff. So at this point, I'm just left confused. So I actually ended up realizing I had an appointment and I didn't have enough time to take him to the grocery store. So I said, hey, Unc, me and my friend will be back. I have an appointment. We'll take you to go grocery shopping later if that's okay with you. And you could go take your shower or whatnot. He's like, okay, cool, fine, no problem. We ended up leaving, going to my appointment, took care of my business. When we got done, my friend was like, oh, we got time now. Should we go back and get Unc some groceries? I'm like, yeah, let's go do that. So we go back to the hotel. The same two ladies I was telling about, whoever he was bringing to his hotel room, was like, oh my God, it's not. If you would have stayed an extra 10 minutes, or if you would have went to the grocery store like you were supposed to, you would have seen who we were talking about. Literally 10 minutes after y'all left, him and that person walked out. And I'm like, really? Then my friend stopped. She's like, that's who was in the shower. That's why the shower was running. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes sense why he was acting like that. It was so weird. So I'm trying to process everything. And I'm like, wow, like, dang. But keep in mind, like, the ladies that were explaining to me whoever they were bringing to his room were making it seem like it was a bad thing. So in my head, I'm thinking it's a bad thing, you know? So it ended up being super late. I'm like, well, is he here at his hotel room? They're like, no, we could go check. So we went to go check. He wasn't there. There was like stuff all over the room and no, he's not there. So I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. I'll just go ahead and write him a note and say we'll be back tomorrow because he still don't got the ID, and that's what's holding up this whole process of him getting his money is the ID. So I want to take a pause here real quick to explain the GoFundMe stuff so you guys understand why he hasn't been able to touch the money. To sum it up, I made the GoFundMe. I never made a GoFundMe before. It was under my information, my name, and I raised it for him. I really thought that probably after a few days they verified my information that I will just be able to be reimbursed and put his money in a trust and all that. But obviously it didn't pan that way, and things literally started to go left with GoFundMe after that lady came to the news. Like at the time, I didn't know they were gonna hold the funds because I remember there was a rumor going around like, oh, people saying GoFundMe's holding the funds, and I'm like, no, like, that's not what's going on. Literally, like, after I posted that video a few days ago on, they are holding the funds safely. And it's just basically saying that they need Alonzo's approval. They need Alonzo to go get an ID, go get certain things, sign a document, take a photo with it, and that way, you know, they can release the funds to me. But that don't make sense because even after Alonzo approves it, then they're going to make me put the money in a trust under my name. So why does it need Alonzo's approval? So I remember making a few videos about it in the past, and some of my followers or my supporters were just like, honestly, tonight, that doesn't sound right. If you're the organizer, why do you need Alonzo's approval? And I'm like, yeah, that does sound right. So everybody basically recommended me to get an attorney. I ended up getting the attorney, consulted with my attorney. He's like, yeah, I'm going to look into this. Honey, as I'm dealing with Alonzo on the side, I'm dealing with GoFundMe on the other side. Literally. Man, when I tell you these past few months, it's been a whole battle with them. It's like a long email communication. My attorney's just basically saying like, I'm looking at your terms and conditions. My client has the right to those funds, and they're just basically doing whatever they want. They're like, well, we can still hold the money if we want to, regardless of our terms and conditions. So they were super adamant, like, Alonzo needs his ID, he needs to approve it, then he could get the money or whatnot, and you could be reimbursed for whatever you spent on him. Every time, so hence, that's why at times in the store, I would be like, Unc, you get your ID, because at this point, I understand he needs his ID so he can be able to get his money and we could just get him in a good situation, his housing, his medical, all of that taken care of. That's what's prolonging the process. And on the side, so that's why I wanted to go back and physically take him to go get the ID. Because at this point, it was being dragged out. I felt like, damn, I haven't even been able to update you guys or really show you guys him and housing or whatnot. And I'm just really fighting so hard for somebody that's not even fighting for themselves. So I know I'm also considering the lawsuit because this has literally put me through hell. It would have probably been a whole different story if they would have never held the funds and I was able to help him get a trust and be in a good situation. But because of that, I literally dealt with the financial burden. I mean, every day people are calling me or thinking I'm fraudulent. I wasn't even able to successfully help him before I moved back to California from DC. It was just a lot behind GoFundMe that has put me through it. I even went as far as actually trying to just move on from the situation and refund you guys, but they're refusing to do that too. They're like, well, we need Alonzo's approval in order to refund everybody. What type of shit is that? So regardless, I'm still tied to the situation no matter what. And Alonzo's not doing his part. So give me your guys' feedback, what you think I should do about the GoFundMe stuff. I don't know if I should just sue or whatnot, but I just want to do the right thing. What happened in part A? So obviously I left the note saying that I'll be back tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow comes, me and my friend, we get up early in the morning. We're like, no, we're not going to miss him because obviously Unc is on the go. Wherever he be going, whatever he be doing, he's like never at his hotel every time I pull up. So I want to pull up early before he would go. So we go up to the room. We're in the room. He's not there. And it looks like it was in the same condition that I left it the night before when I left him the other note. Like, he probably never even got my previous note of me saying that I was going to come back tomorrow to take him to get the ID. That's why I was so adamant about the ID. If you see my previous video about me explaining why they won't release his funds because he needs an ID, that's why I'm like, at this point, I got to take him to go get it myself because he's probably not going to do it. And he hasn't been doing it. It's been a lie or who knows. It's been different stories about why he just don't got the freaking ID. So at this point, I'm like, he's not here. Let me just go back downstairs and write him another note. I go downstairs. There's a whole different employee. Hey, can I get a piece of paper and pen? Yeah, here, no problem. So as I'm writing him a note, the guy stops me. He's like, hey, yeah, are you the person he told me not to let up last week? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah, last week he said he was expecting some people and to not let you up. Who? Me, the person whose name is on the room, the person who helped him get the room. I'm the only person that know he stays here. And second, he was expecting me because I told him I would be back to get the phone. So that really did it for me. I'm just like, wow. I'm writing the letter. Hey, we came by to take you grocery shopping. We came by to take you get the ID. I guess you weren't here. Please give me a call when you see this letter. At this point, I'm stressed and everybody basically in my private life sees my stress and how much I'm fighting for him and how much it has been affecting me in my personal life. And I can't really be Sanaa anymore because I was just so like, that's all I wanted for him was to just get the housing, get the medical care. That's all I wanted for him. And it's like only so much I can do. Like I cannot force him to go do certain things. And at the end of the day, he's grown, right? So it got to the point where I'm like, I can't even stress myself no more. I can't even keep calling this hotel every day, having them transfer me to him to check up on him. I can't keep coming up here and then it's just disappointment after disappointment. I probably have to take some time for myself and let him just figure it out. Like, you know, so it was spring break for me. I originally was not going to do anything for spring break. Last minute, I got invited to a trip out of the country and I was going to go. I'm like, you know, I honestly really need this trip because I've been stressed out and this would be very nice. I started falling off with my studies. I just felt like I wasn't really taking care of Sanaa at that point anymore. So my international trip didn't work out. Last minute, I decided to just go to Miami because I couldn't even be in DC anymore. And also, I felt guilty about going out of town. I remember telling a few people, like, I don't think I should go out of town. Maybe I should just stay. Maybe he'll call me or maybe we could take him to go get his ID so we could just get, you know, everything done. Everybody's just like, honey, you've been stressing yourself about it. Go take the trip. You deserve it. You need to just go relax your mind and take care of yourself, because I was not taking care of myself. So I went to Miami. Well, having an unk part 9, I was honestly gonna just go to sleep because I'm very tired. But I really don't want to leave y'all hanging, and I just want to get the story over with. But back to me going to Miami. So I decided to go to Miami, and I'm trying to get last minute accommodations. Now, if you guys remember back when I got in contact with the Hilton and they gave Unc a stay, they also told me from the beginning, when you're ready for your relaxation stay, we're going to go ahead and give it to you. So at this point, I was ready to use it. And I really needed it. So I ended up getting in contact with the Hilton. I told him, hey, I'm going to Miami by chance. I know this is a little last minute, but can we make some accommodations? They went ahead and made accommodations for me. Shout out to them again, because that was so amazing. I had a great experience in Miami. But when they made the accommodations for me, the guy told me, he said, hey, also, by the way, I know Unc's stay, we're going to cover it up till this day because we can't go over budget and whatnot, which is totally understandable. Like, they kept extending his stay because I keep asking, hey, like, we're having issues with the ID, blah, blah, blah. Like, we haven't been able to get any money. Can you guys just allow him to stay? So they kept extending it, man. And they got to the point where they're like, we can't even go over budget anymore. We just gonna have to transfer it to your information and your card, and maybe you could start taking care of it, but we tried our best. And I was just so grateful. I'm like, you guys did more than enough. So as we're trying to coordinate my Miami stuff, he's like, also, I know his stay is gonna end in a week. I'm gonna put you in contact with somebody at the hotel so they can get your information and start charging your card, basically. Okay, cool, no problem. So ended up getting accommodations. I go to Miami. I'm doing my thing in Miami, trying to relax, trying just to enjoy myself and explore it, because honestly, the last time I've been in Miami, which is a year ago, I had a terrible experience. But my second time was better. I would say probably 3-4 days into me being in Miami, I get invited on a yacht. One of my friends invited me on the yacht, and I had just gone there, and I'm like, wow, this is nice. Never been on a yacht in Miami. This is cool. So probably me being an hour on a yacht, I get a call from Uncle James. Uncle James calls me, and he's just like, hey, Sanai, it's Uncle James, just calling you about Alonzo, blah, blah, blah. And he just starts venting about Alonzo, and he's just like, honestly, this is what happened. I'm getting to the point where me and my wife don't even want to help him anymore. He's basically taking their kindness for weakness, and they trying to help him as well. But, you know, Alonzo just really doesn't want the help. So as the uncle's venting me and sharing me like other stuff he had going on with Alonzo, I started to relate to him. I'm like, wow, that's crazy you're saying this, because I'm starting to feel the same way. So it ended up being like a heart-to-heart between me and the uncle, and I'm crying. He's just like, I know, baby, like, you did your part. You really went above and beyond for him. Like, you know, and I'm so proud of you, but this is becoming too much for both of us. Then, come to find out, during that phone call, he let me know that Alonzo checked out of that hotel a week early. So I'm already in Miami, and I found out that he checked out. Didn't say nothing to me. The only way I was able to get in contact with him is if I pull up to the hotel, or if I call the hotel directly and get transferred to him. So I'm like, work. What happened to Unc Part 10? So I went through the rest of the Miami trip. After coming back to DC from Miami, I immediately shifted into a whole depression. Like, this whole situation really took a big toll on my mental health, because for one, I just found out he checked out of his hotel a week early. He doesn't have a phone. I don't really know anybody that can help me get in contact with him. So I'm stressed about it, because I feel like I'm back at square one with him. And for two, it's been 3 months at this point, and I haven't been able to deliver any results to you guys. I was so hard on that, because all I wanted was to help him and show you guys, hey, look, we did it. And I just shifted in a whole depression. I remember crying in my room in private. I mean, I would go MIA. My parents wouldn't even be able to get a hold of me at times, and I'm all the way in DC by myself. Like, everybody's concerned. They're like, what's going on with you? That thing took a toll, because I'm trying to process everything and the timeline and everything. So I deactivated my TikTok. I know a lot of people started coming to my Instagram like, hey, what happened to your TikTok? Like, what's going on? And I'm just like going through it. And I just really didn't know what to do at this point. I felt helpless. I didn't know, like, how do I move forward from here? I also felt discouraged, because I knew my time in DC was coming to an end, and it just felt like I was just on a deadline to get him help. Like, I only had a few weeks left there, and I wasn't able to make no progress. Like, I remember praying so hard about it, journaling about it, just trying to, you know, get myself back together. But I even went out to go look for him in that same area, like I know he's most likely in, and I haven't been able to run into him. Like, haven't really heard from him. I would say from the time I came back from Miami, which was back in March, up to now, he has probably called me 2 times during these past few months. And those 2 times he has called me, he would say, oh, I miss you, Neats, I love you, and blah, blah, blah. And then he was telling me that, he's staying at a church or whatnot. And I'm like, look, this is why I was trying to tell you to get your ID so you didn't have to go on the streets or have to go into church, but I can afford to, like, continue to pay for it. Like, this is why I told you to get your ID. He's like, I know. So I'm like, when you get your ID, then we'll be able to, like, do everything. So after that conversation I had with him, I haven't heard from him since. What happened on part 11? So I haven't heard from him since, and I just got to the point where I can't keep stressing myself out. So I literally made it my mission to just get my mental health right, go back to finishing school strong, and just work on everything that I literally put to the side for him. I'm the type of person, when I'm committed to something, I'm committed to it, and I like to do one thing at a time. So I remember months ago, everybody was like, you should do a nonprofit. This is your calling. I wanted to do it, but I had to put it to the side because I was dealing with this situation. I was kind of falling off of school a little bit. It was a lot that I put to the side for him. So it got to the point where I just wanted to get back to it and just start pouring back into Sinai and taking care of myself and my business. So actually last month, I don't know if you guys remember when I went to Arizona, I shared you guys that little itinerary my godbrother made me. But I went to Arizona just to get away from DC a little bit, but also visit some family. And as I'm in Arizona exploring, I get a random phone call from a PO, but it's not the same original PO that I've been in contact with a few times. It's a new person and it's a lady, and she's like, hey, my name is da-da-da. I'm Alonzo's new PO. The case got transferred to me, and basically I'm trying to locate him and contact people. I don't know how she got my contact information, but she just asked me, have I spoken to him or seen him? And I'm like, no, I haven't. It's been some time. So at this point, she's like, okay, well, thanks for letting me know. Keep doing what you're doing. And, she's just sharing that she's going through this whole protocol of trying to locate him because technically he's missing at this point. Nobody knows where he's at. So she's like, I'll update you and whatnot. But, my hopes is to be able to locate him, because if I'm not able to locate him, then we might have to escalate it and, like, issue a warrant or, like, whatever. And I'm just like, okay. So fast forward, I get back to DC from Arizona. And at this point, I'm just trying to explore a little bit more DC before I go. Throughout my time in DC, I didn't really get to enjoy it or explore as much because I was just so invested in trying to, help him that as a result, I stopped working at my internship. I wasn't able to give it my all anymore behind this whole situation. Like the UNC thing literally turned into like my own internship. So I stopped working at my internship. I didn't get to really experience that, which was unfortunate. I didn't really get to experience the city as a result. So I was just trying to make a best of like basically my last 2 weeks here. So that's why I made that video saying like, hey guys, it's my last day here. I'm about to move back. Like I was just going through all of this in private, but I also wanted to share that, I'm not going to be in DC anymore. So even before I left DC, I didn't even get to see him or say goodbye. Still today, have not heard from him. Also, I forgot to mention, I hopped on the phone with the Uncle James again right before I moved back. And he's just venting to me again about Alonzo, how he tried to meet up with Alonzo to help him go take him to go get the ID or whatnot. And he waited somewhere for Alonzo for like 4 hours. Alonzo never showed up. So he's just getting frustrated with it and just venting to me. And then the uncle starts spilling all the tea about what Alonzo was doing that I wasn't aware. So for example, when I got him those gift cards, Alonzo tried to go buy him some Nike shoes and his wife some Nike shoes when the purpose of that was for him to eat, which was nice. Like I see you're trying to buy people other shoes. And then I think also the second gift card, the $150 gift card, it was stolen by whoever he was hanging with or bringing to his hotel room. It was stolen. It was like a lot of stuff like Alonzo was doing according to the uncle. I don't remember everything verbatim, but it was a lot. And then the uncle ended the call off with like, sweetie, well, my birthday's coming up on the 9th. Write my address down. Can you send me some money, some gift cards? And I'm like, who do you think I am? Like, I still haven't even paid off the stuff from Alonzo. Never been reimbursed from it till this day. And you're asking me for money for your birthday. And technically, I really don't know who you are. So that really did rub me off the wrong way. And then also right before I left, he called me again, and the uncle was just like, hey, sweetie, I checked my mail, never got my birthday gift, never got my money, and da-da-da. And I'm like, well, hey, uncle, like I told you, I'm in college. I don't have a lot of money. I just, I didn't promise anything. And he was just like, well, there's that, and I just wanted to call you about Alonzo. Like every time the uncle would just call me, venting about Alonzo. And what happened in Unc part 12 and the final part, I see some of your comments. Y'all like, she thinks she Reesa Teesa. Honestly, I just want to tell the story. I know some of you guys, why does she have to tell in multiple parts? I'm trying to catch my words and relive the story in time with you guys as I'm telling it. So y'all like use a 10-minute feature and all that. I literally could not, because I wouldn't be able to like talk in 10 minutes. So I'm sorry if you guys weren't very fond of the multiple parts. But to sum it up, that's pretty much what I went through these past few months and why I haven't been able to post him or even really show you guys any really good results. You know, when making this video, I really didn't want to have to, you know, assassinate his character or make him out as this terrible person, because truthfully, I never really had a one-on-one conversation with him. I mean, I see some of your comments when some of you guys are thinking maybe this has happened, maybe he was influenced by certain people, or, you know, maybe this happened or that happened. I totally get it and I agree, but I'm at the point that I just moved back to California from DC. As you guys know, I'm about to graduate in a few weeks. I'm trying to get ready to launch my nonprofit, and I said that to say this experience was, for one, a learning lesson that you cannot help people that don't want to be helped, and you literally cannot force anything. What's meant to be will be, and it won't be as hard as this was for me. So I'm definitely a firm believer everything does happen for a reason. I feel like in order for me to just move on peacefully, that, you know, I had to share this story with you guys, and that way you guys can understand what happened with Unc and I won't be asked about it anymore. I understand that, you know, for someone like himself, he's not like us, where we're used to having responsibility or a different mindset. He's used to a different mindset and survival and all that. I get it. So I think, you know, when all this happened and it was a new situation for me, it was also a new situation for him as well. And it was just probably a lot for him. Basically, we asked him to just change his whole life around, and he probably honestly didn't want it. Either, you know, he didn't want it or he wasn't ready. I don't know what it was for him mentally. I don't know if he's being influenced. I don't know what he's getting to in private. I just know that this is obviously the wrong time. So I said that to say I really did try to help him. I tried to transform his whole life like I envisioned. But sometimes when you want something for somebody, they may not want that for themselves. And I just have to respect it and give him his space. He's growing at the end of the day. And honestly, this doesn't deter me from wanting to help others, which is why I'm still going to do the nonprofit work. But I say, let's just pray for him. I don't know what he's going through, what he has going on. I know that man has my number memorized, so he can call me up if he really wants to. And if he so happens to call me up and say, hey, niece, like, I'm ready for the help, I'm ready to get my ID and be responsible and do everything, then I will help him. And I will try to get him into a better situation. But obviously, timing is everything, and it's just not the right time. Maybe it's not what God wants, or maybe this is not how God wants it to go. I don't know. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna, you know, go back to being Sanai, graduate, do my nonprofit work, and then I'm starting off with helping even more people that would like the help. So that's why I'm doing my Miss Grad campaign, because, you know, I want to get back to other graduates. And then before I move out of the Bay, because I'm planning to move out of the Bay Area, I want to get back to the homeless. I want to do a homeless drive. So I have a lot planned for the near future. I want to continue to help others, and I also want to be able to navigate my life. I just honestly feel at peace that you guys know what has happened. So, you know, I really pretty much won't be asked about it or tied to it. Now, in terms of the GoFundMe money, I try to get you guys refunded. So I don't know what's going with that. If you would like a refund, I recommend you to just go ahead and go get your refund online. But I don't know what's going to happen with that GoFundMe situation, if things are going to change now that everyone's aware of what has happened. But even so, I think I saw a few people say, you know, use that money for yourself or use it to help others. That would be nice to, you know, put that into my nonprofit. But when I raised that money, I raised it for Alonzo, not for helping others. So I didn't want to turn people off and be like, oh, she's using the money for else. And obviously I can't without permission or whatnot. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. When I do know what happens with that, I will obviously come and update you guys. But I'm telling this story so you guys know why I have to move on with Sanai's life and pretty much not disclose it or talk about it anymore. But I really do hope that if Unc ever sees this, that I still love him. I'm praying for him, and, you know, when he's ready for the help, I will be here for him. But in the meantime, I hope this made you guys understand me better and understand why things went the way they did. And that's it. I love you guys and have a great night. I'm going to bed.